realized that as well. A lot of the choices I've made in my life have not been my own initiative. I think almost everything I've done has been at the behest of someone else. I should go to college was my parents. I should pursue a doctorate. That was my parents. I should, look into people at Granny's, see if I can start working there. That was my mom and Tim and others, right? Even joining this place, while it ultimately was my decision, it wouldn't have happened without the encouragement of everybody else. Do you know what I mean? And so for this to be an endeavor that, while the Lord is encouraging, ultimately has to be of our own initiative, I think is something that is very unusual, and predominantly why it's scary for me is because I haven't had choices like that in my life before. And that is very difficult for me. I feel like if you knew me before I am now, you would think I was a very ambitious person then. I was very engrossed in school and an exercise schedule and all those things. I looked like a very driven person, but inside I've never really been that way. I've always kind of just tried to do what I was told to the best of my ability. And I don't feel all that different now, maybe even less ambitious than I was before. And that is difficult to grapple with.
I understand that well. Since you're not willing yourself to do things, you're at the behest, or you're just doing what you can and what you think you can. You're used to enduring things or exerting yourself, but not willing yourself to do things. That's what I was struggling with. That's why I was like just bedridden this week, because I realized I can do things now. It's up to me. And it's like, but I've never had to do things before. There's been what I should do, and there's what's just. And I've only ever thought I can only do what's just. Anything else is less than me.
I think it's like a survivor mindset. Or I think we've also
surviving versus living.
It's also like an orphan mindset. There's other names we've had for it. But I think it's like, I think when you're in that sort of position, you kind of just do what's necessary because you kind of have to do it. You know what I mean? And anything beyond that is not necessary because you're just trying to survive.
Yep.
You're just trying to do the bare minimum that you need to do to make it to the next day, and that is always good enough.
Yeah.
And so when you're placed in a position where your baseline needs have been met, and now the question is, okay, well, what now? That is terrifying. So much more scary than you'd think it would be, like trying to get from the next day to the next, because now it's like it's in your hands. Now to have possibilities.
It's never been in your hands before, and you've just simply never let yourself think it was. One thing I've seen, and I've had to notice on myself and work on, was I wouldn't it's like, I'm working hard, and or you're telling yourself you're working hard and it's exhausting, but you won't actually grow. You don't choose healthy habits, or you don't eat well, you don't sleep right. That is, you're escaping it a little bit. By staying a little less healthy, what's happening to you is a little heavier. And it's like, I can't do a thing tomorrow, I'm going to be tired. And because I'm tired, I need to rest so I can do what's still necessary. You're not making room for habits. Like when I first started working at Granny's, I was only working 3 hours, and it was utterly exhausting. I couldn't stand for 3 hours. And I was like, all habits aside from eating food, gone. Sleep less, that way I can play video games more. And my life was just that very small group, because I wasn't healthy enough to do anything more. And I kind of had to pursue, I need to be stronger to once again have the opportunity. And I still didn't use it.
And look at you now, though. I mean, you were working 6 shifts a week last year, weren't you?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I was asking Elaine for 7 because I was probably trying to escape something. I know that now. I probably asked you as well. I was like, just call me then. I'm always ready. I don't want to go home.
I don't think, I can't speak to whether you were trying to escape something, but I can say that is definitely the right place to seek. Just because I don't think that time, even if it's, you're trying to avoid stuff at home, I get that. But I do also think that time spent with people, especially the right crowd of people, which I'd say we are.
Close enough.
Close enough. Yeah. I would say that's never time wasted, and that is, even if whatever your intent may be, I think the Lord can work through that, certainly.
Yeah. What it was is, twice this week I've been told, Korbin, have you considered therapy? And it's because I don't know if it was before or after what I say next, but I was looking through it because, yeah, no one truly knows anything. Enough doctorates and you'll also forget everything.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's a school of thought or something, whatever. That's like positive disintegration, which is the pain of moving forward and being able to analyze what is kind of, what's authentic to you, what, I don't know if I don't know how to phrase it well. I literally have to Google it. But it is just a lot of the agonies of things are positive. They are moving you forward. Without these, you're not going to get there.
Accepting your suffering, essentially? Or how would you say that?
It's reimagining it instead of, because I've done the accepting part for a while.
I guess what I mean, it's not accepting as in just bearing them. I think accepting your suffering as in seeing them as a necessity.
I've seen this is a part of it. This would be like, I think as well, I learned a lot of things the hard way as a kid. But since then, I've also kind of realized the hard way worked. But I've taken that to the point where it's like, I kind of rather learn the hard way. I'm gonna touch the oven for a second and see just how hot it is, because knowing somewhere in the back of my head this is gonna be warm is not as good a lesson as putting my hand on it. But no, that's insane. You can't. I don't know where the balance is between find out or just be told. I don't think I can be told anymore.
I've actually experienced very similar things. I think that's how God deals with stubborn people like us.
Maybe.
I felt very similarly when because I think my entire life have been surrounded by people I would consider very well learned and very wise with a lot of things. I still think my grandfather and the influence he had on me as a child and just the time I got to spend with him was huge for me. But I think, to your point, a lot of the things that I was told not to do because they were mistakes my elders had made, it kind of like, I guess it just kind of felt a little more hollow in me than I would have liked.
No, very much so. Like, I fully understand a parent not wanting their child to make the mistakes they had to, but at the same time, you probably let them do it. But I think it's like let them, but you got to be able to make sure it doesn't. It can put them out of work for a little while, but you can't let it destroy them.
I think it can bend. I don't think there's a one size fits all with that with things like that, because I think that my hope for any progeny I may or may not have would be that they don't have to. I think that's honestly probably the heart of many parents is you don't want your kids to have to go through the same things that you did. And I think that there is probably a way to incorporate that is very beneficial. And I think that maybe part of you needing to learn those mistakes is maybe for the sake of something beyond of what you can see in your scope of life right now.
Yeah. Everything has been moving forward. I still have all my fingers.
Yeah, you do. You have a working jaw.
Yeah, that one took a while.
Yeah, but
that
you
one
got
took
there.
like 22, 3 years.
And you know, you're a pretty functioning adult now. You're about to have a job again. You can drive. Those are all good things, no?
Yeah, it's good. But once again, we're transitioning from I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do and it's what I should do to I could like just leave and go to like an art gallery
if you
and
could
look at the art.
Sure, but what
my eyes?
What do you think that would do for you? Looking at an art gallery.
I don't know. I was there yesterday. Once again.
Is there one in PA?
There's like a small tiny thing at the pier.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay,
yeah
I've been there a couple times.
We had a mailing issue. I had Anna's W-2.
Oh, so you're giving it to her?
Yeah.
Nice.
I screwed that up. I gave her my W-2.
Oh my goodness.
Not optimal.
Oh my goodness.
Apparently she said she didn't need hers though, so. Because it was a copy or whatever. I don't know.
Huh. Weird. But now you need yours?
No, I still.
Okay.
I had to double check because I was like, well, I have Anna's. I put that in the fire to heat up the house. I had to be absolutely sure she didn't need it. I double checked because I was like,
something Isaac would do. That's why he's smiling.
no, he already got some of the story in the car ride.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, while I was waiting with the wrong W2 at the pier, I was going around the art gallery and I was like, this isn't natural. This is not what I do. I like the orcas. These are cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm glad it triggered a reaction.
I think giggles are nice. I do. I think that, what was the word you used for meetings like this? Diffuse?
Diffuse.
I like diffuse meetings every once in a while.
Mhm.
I think they're good for people.
Yeah.
Isaac just gave me a squinty eye.
What? Isaac, I don't think has readable facial expressions. I think he kind of just makes them, and they could be any like choice of emotions.
Expressions happen to you.
No, he does them intentionally. I just never know what they mean.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I realized. Like, you guys have a lot of meetings. There's a lot of planning.
Yeah.
I live very day to day, but I think that's why engagement in these meetings is difficult for you guys, because you're pressed into a learning environment so often that when you're put in a room with just your peers, it's like, yeah, we can talk about and digest what we learned.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I don't know how often you guys get to breathe.
No, I
So-
think you're very much right with the familiarity of things.
Mm-hmm.
I think we
Yeah, 'cause-
actually had a conversation about that just a couple days ago.
Gotcha.
And
Because, yeah, I remember you speaking a few weeks ago, year 3, it could be a year.
I know what you're talking about,
Yeah,
that meeting.
but yeah, we're like, I try to get more engagement out of new people, new this, and not to make it performative, but I think it's just, you guys are busy. You're pressed into an environment of, I don't know if I'd say humble yourself or like let pride aside or simply be willing to learn, and that does take effort.
Mhm.
It is an exertion that when you guys get to this meeting, you kind of relax.
It could be, but I think it honestly may as well be that I think there is like a mode you can get into too comfortably where I think there's different types of learning. I think there's like the be quiet and learn, and there's the engage and learn, and we have a couple of those. But then I think there's things that are just and engage and digest with others what you have learned. You had an analogy, the breathing in and breathing out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think quite honestly that a big portion of our meetings are the breathing ins, right? We take in a lot of information.
Yeah.
It's all these things, and then you're so used to doing that in these sort of environments, and especially in this building, that you kind of forget, oh yeah, I need to breathe out.
Yep.
Sometimes that might just be you weren't breathing in the first place, and so if you weren't breathing in, you're not gonna be able to breathe out, right? But other times, I really do think that there is a familiarity you can get into where you simply forget that you need to breathe out.
Yep.
So that's why I'm very thankful for meetings like this. And my heart always going into this meeting is like, what are ways that we can, I don't know, I guess create an environment where people, I don't think feeling comfortable is necessarily the issue, but more of like feel willing to engage, feel like, you know what, this does feel a little more different than, just a normal gathering of, hanging out. Like it's different than a movie night, but simultaneously different than another breathing in meeting, another meeting where you're kind of just listening to other people talk. Because I think that this is a very, I would say probably the only meeting I can sort of think of that like has the opportunity to be a real like substantial breathing out. I keep using that analogy.
Do you
for
not have a
all
lot
of us
of-
in this room?
In that case, I'm assuming the other things, is there less back and forth then?
There are some that are back and forth, but there are a few that are very much we're just listening. Like,
Observing.
yeah, like tonight we're going through it's called the Seven Spirits, but it's a teaching that their dad is doing, and that is almost predominantly we're kind of just listening.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of internal digestion there, most of it not even intellectual, so that's a real doozy one. But yeah, I would say a lot are that going in, and I think it can be very easy just to let things like that go over your head. I know for probably the first couple months, maybe half a year I was here, a lot of it did go over my head, and I just could not engage with the material in the right way.
Yeah.
And I think I finally kind of got to a point where I'm like, okay, I think I kind of can feel the rhythm here. And so I think it is very possible for that to go over your head. Because if you're not trying to engage with it, you won't. But I also think that there are people who genuinely do try to engage with it and that are doing their best to breathe in and simply don't know how to breathe out because there hasn't really been a meeting like this
Opportunities
before. I think, I don't know because I wasn't here I guess I've been here a little bit now, yeah. But I don't know before I came here if there was a meeting sort of like this where like we are intentionally getting together as an opportunity to kind of just talk about what's going on and what we've learned.
Yeah, as a collective instead of as a lesson.
Yeah, because we also, we'll have like individual one-on-one time.
Oh yeah.
And that's what honestly, that's my biggest heart with this, is with almost every person in this room, have had like some really great one-on-one time. You know what I mean?
No, I truly, because I hunger for that.
Because I think that's like, it creates an environment that feels maybe a little less like pressure. I don't know. But I would love it if we could somehow figure out a way to create a similar environment here where it kind of just feels like a big one-on-one. And I know that makes no sense.
No,
but
it's
like,
difficult, but no, I'm 100% with you.
it feels like a very open back and forth between the whole room rather than just, and I love that we engage, but rather than just like 2 or 3 of us talking the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious to hear what you think about the book. No.
I don't have a whole lot yet. We only just started reading it, so.
But like, first chapter?
It made a very good impression on me for sure.
Do you feel receptive to it, or is it challenging?
Um,
Or do you have to rethink or at least reevaluate?
I feel mostly comforted by it, but not in like a static way, as if I'm okay where I'm at. But it obviously is
That's good.
It's an encouraging book in the sense that it is. The repeated theme throughout is a calling to a higher place. Coming up hither is the way that it's worded. So, the imagery in it is really beautiful to me. But at the same time, I don't actually want to get caught up in the imagery too much. Because the spiritual realm is not just a realm of visuals. It's actually not a realm of visuals. And so, while it does there's a lot in the soul that it appeals to in a very good way, and not just an endearing way, but a very, like I said, encouraging and uplifting way. It's also not what I base the effect it has in my own spirit on, because the realm of the spirit is very different from the soulish realm, obviously. So I don't have a whole lot to say about it quite yet, because we are just now getting into it. So
Gotcha. Soul and spirit. I don't know if I've pulled those two away from each other. I've definitely done that with ego.
I will say that the definition of soul, this threw me through a loop for a while as well, I think, but when soul is used, the terminology kind of refers to the mind and the emotions. And so that's like, that comprises your soul and then the spirit, quite honestly, is something I don't have a full understanding of either. And I've been here for a little bit now. I'm still being taught that.
Yeah.
when something appeals to the soul, a good way to think about that is it emotionally, it feels nice. It feels comforting, you know, or it stimulates you in a way that excites the mind or the heart. You know what I mean?
I do, but I think I'm weird about this. I think you guys have been much more comfortable with the concepts of faith for a lot longer than me. Like,
I don't know if I have, but well, maybe I guess long.
no,
Yeah, sure.
but no,
Okay.
by all means, like I shouldn't assume anything.
No,
Prove
I
me
get it.
wrong. By all means, I'd rather much prefer that.
I will say trying to come to an intellectual understanding of like the demarcations between the two is kind of a fruitless endeavor, because I really think it's like a little bit of a trap, just because like I don't think you're ever gonna find an answer
No,
satisfying
once
there.
you start quantifying it, you're going to be very human about it, and man is flawed.
Yeah, very true. I've kind of just put it in a space of like, I think that having a general conception is fine enough for me, and that the more substantial things are the work that the Lord does there, and I don't necessarily need to understand what that quantifiably is in myself. Do you know what I mean? Or what the yeah.
Yeah, no, it's entering the realm of I'm thinking about thoughts.
Yeah,
I'm not
kind of.
acquiring anything here.
Yeah, that's definitely it's becoming less and less for me, but that is a problem with the intellectual mind of trying to need to quantify and categorize and
Yeah.
figure out.
Box away.
Yeah, box
fold up.
away. And it just, nothing really does in that realm.
If you successfully do that, you've missed the point. You've made it simple for yourself.
Yeah. You're never gonna, you can't, and if you think you have, you haven't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll only mention because I think, when I think faith, I think I've either defined it differently, but I've yet to find or answer myself a question or to comfort myself the idea of faith or that there's more going on. It's no more calming to me than if I die and I go in a hole. But I think that's just because it's the opposite of the survivor mindset of I gotta keep doing what's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much life will go on, with or without me. The road keeps going. I have to step off eventually. But it was that kind of growing up with that attitude. It was the spiteful, it's like, well, I'm gonna like pretty the place up as much as I can, and I have no idea how. And that's probably why I got into like psychology and stuff, just because I saw so many like not knowing what was going on, just not understanding people, probably being autistic, ADHD, whatever, but just not understanding or getting the grips with what people were going through. And I did that analytically and cynically instead of understanding. Now I have empathy. I say that like I was inhuman.
I get you.
I was super two-faced as a kid.
No, I get you.
But now I feel I understand everything through selfishly. Not in a bad selfishly. Anything I see expressed in another, I know can be expressed in me, and that is how I understand it.
Interesting.
I think I've inverted everything from if I'm mad about something, like I don't know, how do I just phrase this? I think I was phrasing it to Anna because I had time to talk with her yesterday. Was I can't solve all issues within. I'm going to have to do it without. I need to be comfortable to let things go, and not in a I'm dropping it and being mad about it, but as in life's too short. I don't care. Not in a like throw this away from me, but like it'll hurt. I can live with the hurt. I can learn from this, but issues without as well, or like I need to solve within. It's like, yeah, I take issue with like what's going on here, or like the trash can's full, this, that, the little paint's bad. It's like that's because it's reflecting me, and that's what I'm uncomfortable with. It has nothing to do with the room. Nothing's one-to-one.
I think, quite honestly, you're not too far off with how I started out with faith and what that looked out like for me. Because I think, for me, the biggest first hurdle to get over was I cannot understand this. And that was the block for my entire life. I can't understand this, therefore it's worthless. And the way I finally got past that roadblock was, I can't understand this, but I think that the Lord can work through that anyways. And so I think when you can finally get past the hurdle, as you were saying, that letting go does not mean giving up.
Yep.
It
That
means-
was the hard part.
It means not letting it stop you. And so when you can get to that roadblock and decide, you know what, I don't understand this, but I'm going to trust that something is happening there regardless.
Yeah.
I'm going to have faith. If
I
you
think I'm very much on the mindset of the bigger plan now, where no, I don't speak in visions or this or that or this or that or karma, but I always feel like I can kind of see the stream. I can see what's going down. But I place no faith in that. I just have it's probably a bit pride. There's a little bit of like, that makes sense when everything's falling apart. But like, it's like, no, this all adds up.
I think,
You know?
elaborate on that a little more. What do you mean by a stream? Take your time, you're fine. Sorry for putting you on the spot.
No, this is fun. Stressful. That's why I find it
No,
fun.
no expectations here, I'm just curious.
I don't know. It's probably, once again, it's probably just me trying to brute force, trying to understand things. Is everything's going forward, everything's happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other option for it to not be happening. That cup is not going to start sliding around the table. And like from that, even the most materialistic, my headset is just goes from there. Everything is happening. And whether it's like, oh yeah, you do something bad and you're going to get bad karma and then something bad is going to happen to you, or this or that or this. That's a very linear way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
And not everything's linear. Everything is going to happen. The good and the bad. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I can see and respect all of it. I don't know. The word that's popping in my head is learned helplessness, but it's not helpless as in I'm awash in the current. I think for once I'm not thrashing in the water anymore, so I can move with it. I don't always float downstream, I feel, anymore. I'm a little more buoyant than sinking to the bottom. But I think that came with being able to trust and learning to see myself in others and others in me. Because when I was trying to solve everything myself, I couldn't do that. When you think you're the only thing holding you up, you can't let go. You're going to sink, you're going to drown. But having faith and trust in the system, and the idea like, I'm just going to flow downstream. There's nothing, and sure, it could be scary downstream, it could be bad. It's going to keep happening. I'm going to keep happening until I'm not. And I don't know if this is all just schizophrenic to you guys or
No,
what.
I think I get what you're saying now.
Korbin, to be a little more specific, because you very consistently speak as someone who's like trying to solve a problem, basically. Just it's not that's not a generalization or a criticism. It's just
No,
the way that you
once
speak
again,
about
I
things.
like to hear these
Yeah.
kinds of things.
So
It's good to hear things
what
that don't
is
echo
the
from my
problem
head.
that you're trying to solve? If you could put it as one problem.
That's a good question. I like that question. I could stay up for a while at night trying to find that answer.
Maybe you could just say it's to be able to find the right problem that should be solved. Maybe you don't even know what the problem
Oh
is.
yeah, no, that was definitely how I solved it early. Was what's the meaning of life? Is to find meaning in life, and I'm still trying to find it. And I don't know if I.
What do you want? I could be like a little more visceral about it.
To be absolutely visceral, to take someone apart, kind of like a machine, and put it back together. I want to be able to be like, what's broken here, or what's your question? When I stay up all the time talking to myself, trying to find out what I'm doing, I can kind of usher people along, but I don't know if that's healthy. Some questions you can only ask yourself. And I think I'm manipulative enough that I can make someone ask themselves without realizing I gave them the opportunity. I want to guide people. Not the healthiest thing as well. I was learning some of that yesterday when I was talking with Anna. I was like, yeah, what are we going to do in town? And she asked me, and I was like, let's ambush our friends. Just show up when they're not expecting it and just hang out. Because that's what I did at work. That's what I did at Granny's. But I was like, once again, as I said, this whole week I've been just asking myself everything. Why do I do all of this? What's authentic to me and what have I learned to survive?
Mm-hmm.
And that ambushing thing, I was like, yeah, that's dated. I can look forward to setting up a time to hang out. I don't need to wait for things to happen to me anymore. I can drive now.
I think with the what do you want? So your want there is to, let's make it as simple as possible, help other people, would you say?
I think it's back to the anything without is within. I want to help other people. At the end of the day, that is so I can help myself. I'm being it's my independence that I want to completely ignore myself and work on other people and not have to fully face my own problems. But by helping others, and if I can see them work through it, I can see myself in them and I can work through my own stuff. But now I feel strong enough that it's like I can kind of just sit down and not panic anymore. I can do this now. But I don't know. I saw you clock in. Or at least I became aware.
Isaac's always on the clock.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't like phone calls. I like being able to see people. There's a tell for everything. And I think once again, that like, oh yeah, I can see what you're thinking about. It has nothing to do with you. It's because I want to know what you're thinking about so I know what I'm thinking about. The least selfish things are 100%. They just flow back to being selfish. And it's the opposite too. But I don't know.
I think that you can see your perspective, and I would raise you another way of looking at that. I would say that maybe trying to fix people might be the wrong approach, I'll say.
No, but
because
that's what I was meaning when I prefaced the visceral part.
I cannot say I don't agree with that to an extent, because I think, and I'm only speaking for myself here, so I don't let this be a condemnation towards you. I think when I was in a phase of my life, I had I'll call it a savior complex. And it was pride within me.
Yep.
And it was, I want to help people. I want to save people. And it is very easy to let that altruism blind you from the fact that a lot of that is a way of
it puts you above people.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, no, because
and so
I think I haven't heard of it that way, but I've told myself the exact opposite of I don't pity people, because to pity them, that means they are lesser than you, and I'm at the same level as anyone else. I never want to be master. I'm not Sherpa. I want to come at someone from the same exact level, and once again, that's probably because by helping others, I help myself.
And I would say that where that mindset kind of went for me is I got to a place in life where I think my own problems that savior complex was trying to mask eventually did catch up with me. And I fell into a bit of a pit, and I sat there for a little while. And I think I eventually came to realize, after crawling out of said pit and getting to interact with people a little bit more, that desire in me to save people, to help people.
To usher.
I think that was actually a cry to want to know people.
Yeah.
I think what I actually wanted was and I don't mean this in like the romantic sense, but I wanted a relationship with people. And so
You said usher just now, Korbin. What does that mean?
I meant it in the same way, but not as heavy-handed as save people. That I can, and once again, it's whether it's pride, it's definitely ignorance. The thinking you can kind of help someone on their path. You don't know their path. I can't really usher anybody.
Path to what though? That's what I'm kind of wondering.
I don't know. I guess the same forward as I am, the same path. I don't know. I'm going downstream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but where is that going? Is like when you say usher, that's why I was curious, because that means like you're helping people to
an end.
Yeah.
To get somewhere. Where are they going? Where are you going?
I don't know.
One thing I see a lot or hear a lot in what you're saying is like it's very process oriented, which is, I mean, that's like the gist of what we speak on anyways whenever we're talking about anything, is the experience we're having in it and the reflections on that experience. But there's still a motivation in it. There's still a vision. When I say vision, I mean like a goal, but not goal in like this objective task list sense. I mean goal in that like all roads lead to
there's a destination.
Something. There's a destination. There's an end. There's a God. That's what I'm understanding. To be absent in what you have been saying, Korbin, is that there is no direct conversation or shared experience in the person, in the person which is the end of everything that we do, and the orchestrator of what we do. And this is not, I don't mean to bring into a theological conversation, like trying to see
by all means
where it makes sense for God to fit in or where it doesn't. Like it's not a matter, this is why we probably haven't had the conversation as much, because it's not a matter for any of us of proving whether or not God is or is doing something. We are living and speaking in such a way that lives in and rests in that reality. Not one that's trying to, never a narrative that's trying to prove whether or not that's the case. So that is really where I wanted to get to with you, Korbin, is who is God to you? How do you relate to God? Because for us, if that's not something that is the foundation of everything we're saying and doing, it actually doesn't matter at all. No matter how helpful and productive it seems to be as a system of thought or philosophy or practice or whatever it is in this life, it is all it means nothing if it is not related to or a pursuit of the person, which is kind of what we were talking about earlier when we were discussing our reflections on that book, which is all about a greater intimacy with that person.
I don't think I'm smart enough to know what the end of the road looks like. And I probably won't be when I do get to the end of the road.
Well, one thing I can very confidently tell you is that end of the road, as well as the answer to the problem you're attempting to solve, whatever that is, you won't be able to do it. I can say that
I think
you can't do it.
That is the truth. Yeah, I don't know if anyone can answer the questions in a way that, because if you can answer something, you can prove it, and I'm not trying to prove anything. So I live without the destination in mind, but I know I have to at least keep going down the road. I think anyone that tells you without a shadow of a doubt what's going on, they were able to, and I was going to use the word sold, but I think they were able to convince themselves for their betterment or their worse, they're doing something, but I don't think anyone can ever really know. I don't think you can actually know anything. Everything's interpreted by, once again, we're getting cynical, we're getting physical about it. Everything's interpreted by your brain. You can get a concussion, get good at math, you could forget how to do math. But, I don't know, this is a side tangent. But I don't think you can know anything. So you can only go off what you have. I think that's what I did all of last week was I realized I kind of need to drop everything and realize what I've been taking for granted or what I've assumed or what's simply not true anymore. I need to be more authentic to myself. But I'm not quite sure what that means. And I think answering the question is somewhere in there.
I think that is wherein lies the problem with the soul and spirit thing. There is no way to know something in your soul, whether that be your emotions or your rational mind.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way to logic yourself to that destination, as Noah was saying.
Yep.
I
think nothing is utterly true.
The relationship that the person
Is that
of the
statement
destination-
utterly true?
'Cause
See,
that's-
that kind of
Yeah.
kind of relativism never makes sense. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to say.
No, absolutely.
Here's the
Once you get super brass tacks about anything, like every good rule has a notable exception, and then that exception is a rule, and then there's this and that, and it boils down to, I'm mortal, and this is above me.
Here, let me share at least where I got with that philosophy, and I'm not. Maybe you are a different way of thinking than me, but I eventually got far enough in that thought, that way of thinking, to where you just keep looping it on yourself.
Yep. No.
And you realize that you just perpetually go into circles, and like Noah was saying, you can do all these good things, you can meet all these good people, and keep trying to find the end of that answer, but you will realize that you are doing nothing but turning the gears in your mind fruitlessly.
Yeah.
And so I
think
realized.
any emotion, any big undertaking, committing yourself to it, eventually, at least with me, especially with dowdier things, it gets heavy in a very physical way until I eventually am like, I'm crippled. I need to drop this. But like I'm doing that as an animal, as a survival thing of just like, I can't keep going forward. Like I realized I can't pay attention to the road. I'm gonna be a paint smear in a minute. I need to relax.
So can I say something to you that I do know? So this is from a place within me that I don't rationally understand, that I cannot explain to you with logic or really even emotion. But there is a part of me that knows that there is a part in you that has the answer to that question. And it does not lie within the faculties of your mind or the stirrings of your heart. And there is a part of you that end, that person, that destination, that God wants a relationship with. That he wants to know in that way. And that he wants to give you that fulfillment. And I'm not doing this like this whole, salvation thing that the church always does.
No, I understand
But
that is difficult.
I will say, just reflect on this, but don't think about it too hard.
Yeah.
But
I think
try to consider.
that's what I think I boiled down to is I can't answer the questions, or at least I can move on.
Try to consider that. Is that if there is no end within the endless turnings of the mind, and there is no emotional satisfaction there that'll ever perfectly fill up that hunger, that desire for something more, is there something else?
I don't know. I think I came to terms young. I could rethink it now and throw this all out the window and have to sit there for an hour. But I came to terms that like, I'm not quite sure how to be happy or what happy is. But I can have peace. And then I overthought that and I, chasing that, what's the answer? How do I do this? What are the right habits? How do I get the heart rate to not be where it is right now? And if I'm not thinking about it, I can idiot savant through all of that. And that's what I think I mean when I say, like, I can follow the stream of, like, I can shut my eyes and just autopilot, and it will be less than mindless, because the gears will be turning. I'll be completely distracted. But there's times where I'm like, no, it all makes sense. I get this. Completely aside of that. Have you ever experienced nirvana?
In the sense of
the moment of, like, oh, everything's connected. That part.
I think that trying to have a moment like that intellectually is, I don't know if it's entirely possible.
So far, I've had 2 moments like that, completely on accident. And they're very sharp. I was under the underpass at the, like, theater, and literally nothing. I was literally just passenger princess in a car. I don't even remember what we were doing. But I was like, oh yeah, none of this matters. And not in a, none of this matters, but in a, this is all setting. I'm going, like, not even it's everything is going, and I am that everything. Mm-hmm. And then another time was in high school. I don't remember what year, but it was, weirdly I don't remember the times, but I remember the places. Like the 400 Hall. And that's a weirder one, because I shouldn't have had a moment of peace while I was, like, smashing through high schoolers. Maybe that's actually what caused it. I was seeing everyone going to their own places, and I was not separate. When I say nirvana, I say you feel you are not separate from anything. Mm-hmm. It is all connected. And I think those few glimpses, which I don't know the cause. I don't know if it's like, yeah, I ate the right thing that day, or I ate the wrong thing, the bread was moldy, and I went kind of insane. Mm-hmm. But every once in a while, I feel like I get, without my consent, I get to peer through the veil for a minute, and it's like, oh. And then I kind of don't understand it anymore, and I kind of go back to normal. Mm-hmm. But it stays with me. I don't think I'll have my answers, because my answers are stuff like that.
I will say this. I don't think that there are many of us who have a profound intellectual understanding, because I don't think one exists for, I'll say it, that end. I think, similar to what Noah said, you can have a lot of moments like that and good things, but I think ultimately they're kind of, I think what you end up settling on is a hollowness, because it is a realization that nothing matters, so I'm just going to be here and do my thing. And
I don't know. I think I was spiteful to that.
Yeah?
Where I was like, if nothing matters, I need to make it matter. I think that's one reason there's a slight bit of pushback in my head of faith, heaven, hell, any concept of that, where it's like you get rewarded at the end or you get punished at the end. I was like, I don't want that. If I'm rewarded at the end, I did all this because there was a reward. Mm-hmm. I want exactly what's going to happen to me.
I think that is the biggest blight of modern day Christianity, is that is the main push of it.
Yeah, the reward.
Because that is just so far from the Father's heart. Mm. I will speak from personal experience. That idea of Christianity is detestable to me. Mm. I despise that sort. That is the good works that lead you to the eternal reward. That is hollow. But I think that there is real fulfillment in this life, where we are right now, outside of something that you can intellectually comprehend. Yeah. And even your soul can have emotional resonance with it, but it's also beyond your soul.
Yeah. No, I think it all boils down to that, and that I don't think I can ever truly understand everything, but I can follow the script. And I don't know the script, but I do know how to make people laugh. I do know how to make people cry. I know how to get people to open up, and I know some scary stories that put a lot of shock. And the reason I remembered those is, like, I needed to find something. I was like, I need to know how to make someone open up when I can see the escalation of something is holding them down, it's like I can kind of, it's not kind, I can kick their feet out and help them just do this now, get them going. But it's not my place. Nothing is my place. But that probably comes from independence.
I think also with that sort of mindset, you can very often, and I don't discredit the idea of learning through others, but I think by focusing on how we can help others and how we can get them through their own roadblocks and all of those things, it is very often a way of distracting ourselves from the things that trouble us.
That's what I meant. Yeah, that's the problems without are just problems within, and vice versa. And I was especially noticeable of that when it comes to obsession. If something's important to me and I don't know why, I'm avoiding something, or it's something along those lines. I don't know. I've talked too much. Anyone else have hearts to spill? It's not a calming fact knowing this is all uploaded to YouTube.
It's okay, not many.
We don't have a huge audience
Yeah,
yet.
it's mostly just us watching it, so you're okay.
Kim will say hi. That'll be fun.
She does like watching these.
That was the eye opener when I went to a Blackberry on the wrong day and I saw Kim and she's like, "Yeah, you mentioned that at the meeting." And I was like, "I did."
She loves watching those. It's.
Oh
I would say if there's anybody you'd want to get to know you more, she's definitely one of the top ones. I would honestly say that she could probably have a better conversation about these things than many of us could, simply because, or at least that I could, because there is a way that she lives that is so profoundly confuddling to the intellect.
She has lived through so much chronic pain, and I dealt with a lot of pain, like just being raised hick and having medical problems. Like basically all of my problems were fixable. We just didn't know I had problems. That's why I'm so scrawny. But no, I lived with pain for a long time. You learn a lot of lessons, and I think Kim learned a lot more than I did. But if I ever forget something, I can probably ask him.
What I love, I think, one of the biggest things about my mom that is an encouragement to me is that she lives with all that she lives with. And I don't know if I know someone who has a more precious smile than her. And
Exactly.
I don't think that smile comes from the idea that one day it will be an eternal release from that. And I don't think it's discontinued. I don't think that it's separate from that. But I think the biggest source of her joy is something that she has real and now. And I think that is the biggest demarcation I can make between what we believe about the Father and the push of modern Christianity. Is I do not think the answer and that end is something that you have to reach at the end of your life, and that has to be some sort of heaven or hell conversation. I think that there is very much an end in this life, and I don't think that's something you will ever find intellectually.
Yep. Yeah.
Alongside with something Jaden said, I've also got the chance to meet with Kim, and it has been like, if you're thinking of the sense of being hungry and needing to be fed, Kim is somebody who will like give you an entire meal, if that makes sense. Not only in like the day-to-day things. I mean, I've struggled with a lot of chronic pain. That's nothing probably compared to hers, but even the way
that's exactly how I
helps
feel.
me and it's beautiful, and even deeper into spiritual things as well. But yeah, Jaden's not lying when he says that Kim is, extremely helpful in those ways.
I have to make a meeting.
What?
I'm just thinking, like, how do I pursue this? Because I've decided I can instead of
Would you like to?
maybe. Oh.
I mean, if you would like to, it doesn't have to be a meeting. It can literally be like,
I sit down.
I'd like to have a conversation with you, and you could get coffee with her at Joyce or something like that. You don't have to be. I think that the biggest demerit of thinking of certain things as meetings and things like that is it takes the relationship out of it, and I would say that's even something that this room, are struggling in with the meetings.
That's exactly the hard part for me. I didn't have any.
So
I had none of that family part
So
this is beyond the next step.
So think.
But it is the next one.
So think outside of any sort of rigorous meeting. Think of it like I'm getting, counseling from someone or anything like that. Think of it like I would like to get to know this person better.
I was gonna say meeting feels like the wrong word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not a meeting. It is a conversation. It is a chance to get to know someone.
I was starting with that yesterday when I didn't deliver Anna her mail. I was like, this was a great time. And I know I did not have it in me to enable this to happen, although this is exactly just about what I would have loved to happen. Unless I had an excuse, unless I had a duty to fulfill, which I failed to bail.
I don't think there needs to be an excuse for
That's
relationships. I think it
what
can
I'm-
be convenient, but I think just getting to be able to talk with someone for the sake of getting to form a relationship with them is probably the most.
Yeah. It is the better version
Honest
of thinking, you can help someone, you can fix them. It's like, at the end of the day, you're both going to get what you want as long as you are open with each other.
I think a relationship is very much a give and take, and I don't think that there's any person. I think trying to go into a relationship or a conversation or getting to know someone with the ideology that I'm going to fix that person, if either party is doing that, I think that's a roadblock.
Yeah,
to a
no, that's
relationship.
once again, you're either above or something else. But I don't think I'm gonna let go of in my head when I see someone struggling, and I almost desperately want to help them. But I think, once again, you have to help yourself. If I can assist, I don't know any other purpose that I live for than helping people.
I think that.
I think
Funnily enough, I think oftentimes when you go into a conversation with someone with that mindset, I want to fix this person, even if you think you are making progress, and even if it feels like the other person is unaware, I think very often that person will feel, I feel like this person feels like I'm a project.
Yep.
And I think that is very, very anti-relationship.
Yep. No, I'm glad I used the word manipulative because that's exactly what it is.
I don't think manipulation is the right key for relationships, quite honestly.
Neither is ambush.
No, ambush is different, because ambush is like, I want to spend time with this person, and if it happens to work out without having to set up a time, I think that's completely different. But I think manipulation and, I'm going to try and ask these questions to lead this person to this answer, I don't think that produces the fruit that you think it does.
Or at least, no, it'll produce something and it's not worth the
I think what it produces is a distance in that relationship, because I think people are often a little more perceptive than we think they are.
Always. Yeah.
But if you would like to get coffee with my mom, I can put in a good word, and I know that there was nothing that would make her happier.
I feel like a cornered animal right now.
Nope, no pressure at all. If that feels too much, then
No, that's the problem. It's exactly what I want. And I don't allow myself those things, and that's what I'm pushing through.
why?
Allow me to interject a little bit here. The point is, relationships, the value of relationships can't be exaggerated. But what we want for you, Korbin, is, and I can just speak for myself personally, I don't just want you to get to know me better. I don't want you to just get to know Jaden better. I don't want you to just get to know Kim better. All of that is beautiful, and I don't say that facetiously.
No,
But what we really want you to do, what we really want for you, it's not a matter of you making you do something, but what we desire is for you to know God. And that's a standard we hold onto one another, regardless of whether we're family or friends that have known each other for a long time. if this is not the heart behind anything that we do with each other, it doesn't last, and it ultimately is not something that matters that much.
Yeah.
And so, Korbin, this is something that you're going to have to really resolve in yourself at some point with us, and in such a way that you can't go any further. You can't go any further in a certain sense with us unless this is something that is resolved in your own heart and mind.
I'm trying.
And I'm being sincere and frank with you about that, because it's the reason we do everything we do, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. So that's kind of like the tip of that's like kind of the zenith of the apex of everything that we do. That's like the top of the mountain that we're traveling up. I mean, again, look, we speak about the process and the experience along the way, but that's where we're going, is what I'm saying. And so you can't go any higher, in a sense, if that's not also where you're desiring to go.
Yeah.
And so what I just wanted to, we're getting a little short on time here. What I wanted to end it with.
Episode.
That's okay. If you guys are willing to, if Isaac and Jaden would be willing to pray for Korbin, I think that would be, if you guys are willing to do that. Yeah.
And Korbin, I also just want to add very quickly before I do. This is not, because I don't know how much familiarity you have with normal Christianity. What we are not trying to do here is a conversion.
No, I know.
You have to come over under the same faith.
100%. No.
There is a person that each of us have a deep relationship with, and our heart is for you to get to know that person. There is no, you need to think the way we think. There is no, you need to pursue the things we're pursuing. But there is a person that we all orient our lives around. And we want you to know that person, because the connecting thread between all of us is that person.
Gotcha.
And so don't feel a pressure on that. Don't feel I need to do this certain thing or think this certain way so that I can continue to meet with these people. There's nothing like that. But Noah is absolutely right, that that is the end for all of us.
Gotcha.
I don't want to continue to repeat ourselves too much. I really want you guys just to pray for him. I think it's going to be a lot more effective. So, Korbin, it's not going to be, a relationship with God is not an answer to your problems. A relationship with God is an invitation. It's an invitation to a new life. That's what it is. And you won't actually know what that means until it's actually something you begin to pursue and walk in. I guarantee you won't have it all explained to you before you go into it. It's something, that's the faith part of it. You start to walk in it. You don't have to understand it.
That's the stream.
I mean, going back to your conviction about you're not really being able to fully know anything, well, if that's true for you, then why don't you start walking? You don't have to fully know that.
Yeah. No,
You'll know by living it out. That's the only true way to know anything. So you guys go ahead.
Father, I am going to speak with you how I like to speak with you when I am intimate with you, which really is a conversation with you. I am also very new to praying for people because I have been influenced by things that have put such a sour connotation with that in my mind. But Father, I am sincerely thankful for every opportunity that I have had to get to know this young man. Father, I feel a kinship with him that I don't think is coincidental. Father, I have very much gone through this cycle of thought and desperate attempt to make understandings of this world very similar to him. And my only prayer and hope for him, Father, would be that you give him the same opportunity that you gave me. I am eternally grateful for all that you have done in my life and my family's life and this people, Father. And I don't think anything would bring my heart more joy than for another person to get to know you in the same way. And so, Father, I sincerely pray that you would meet Korbin where he is. Father, that you would extend to him a hand of mercy that pierces through all religious connotation, that pierces through all preconceived thoughts, a hand that shows the realness of you in this moment and in every day. And Father, I thank you. Amen.
Well, Lord, I thank you for your work in this season, and your work in the hearts of your people. Lord, for Korbin, there's a need for silence. To stop the fruitless spinning of the mind and the many, many considerations that lead nowhere. But Lord, it has to be real. Lord, and so I bless your work in his life, Lord. Lord, that you would even reveal it and let those who are close see it. But this needs to be a slow season for the mind. And a very careful season. Amen.
Lord, we pray you'd bless this life. Speak to Korbin. Lord, open his heart and Lord, meet him in that place where only you and him can be. Lord, I pray that you would even open up the work of your hand in his past and his present life. Lord, show him the nature of your wisdom, which is also the nature and reality and power of your love. So we bless this life. We lift up this life to you, and we even trust this life to you. Lord, we know that nothing can be done or be brought about as change or improvement or anything of that sort by our hands or even by his hands. That is something that your hands alone can bring about in a lasting way in any of us. And so we bless that work in Korbin and in each other. And we pray all of this in hope and in faith of your ways and of your timing. In Jesus' name, amen.